Hello, freak bitches.
These are called Sea Org members. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about average Scientologists.
And explain to me the Sea Org, because was that established when L. Ron Hubbard was evading taxes? So he
Yes,
got on
and
a
he was
boat.
on a ship. Yes, and he created this ship called the Free Winds, and whatever ship that's not called the Free Winds. It is called the Free Winds now, but that's where they deliver the highest level of Scientology. There, OT8. The top
So when
of
you
the
get to
bridge.
OT8, you got to get
You got to
on
go to
a
the Free
boat.
Winds. But before that, I don't know the name of his boats, but I think it was called the Apollo.
That was a part of Going Clear that was
Yeah.
hilarious. When who was it? One of the writers or one of the
Paul Haggis.
yes,
Yeah.
when he received like the highest level shit.
That wasn't even the highest level,
Wasn't
Joe.
even?
That was OT3.
Really?
Yeah, and when I read it, I literally, you have to go into a secure room.
Explain. Talk us through that.
Okay,
What is
so
that
first
like?
of all, you have to get invited. You have to get an invitation.
So you'd been Scientology for years. You'd spent a
Scientolo-
ton of money already.
ton of money,
and you're
ton
like,
of.
God
And by the
damn
way,
it,
most
this is it.
most Scientologists don't even get to this.
Most.
Most don't.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have to be wealthy to get to this.
Not only do you have to be wealthy, but a lot of times what they do, the new scam is you got to go. You get to a level and then they go, oh, we messed that up. You have to go back down at your expense.
Right.
You have to redo that part.
You were talking about that on your show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And they rewrite some new thing.
Yeah.
and-
Now David Miscavige rewrites things and says he found it in a vault somewhere. And like we all
Vault.
believe it, baby. Honestly,
Right.
we all believe it because we want to believe it.
So, talk me through.
So you go through this rigorous
What level did you get to?
OT 5.
Ooh, you got close.
Yeah, I got close. I I got to to get to this advanced level. It's called advanced levels. Okay?
Right.
You are put through the ringer. They go through every folder. From the moment you walk into a church of Scientology, they have folders on you. So everything you've ever said is written down and videotaped. Okay, so they get your folders and they cull it. They go through it. Okay, and they go through every transgression. Are you still humping your pillow? Are you still a nasty asshole to your mother? Like they go
Right.
through everything. Are you still connected to this person who said something bad about Scientology 20 years ago? So they make sure that you're eligible to get the advanced data.
And where do they bring you?
Okay, they
to
bring
give
you to
some,
a room.
Where is it at?
It's on L. Ron Hubbard Way in Los Angeles and Fountain. It's
So,
called AO.
how nervous are you? Are you freaking out? Oh my God,
I'm
I can't believe this is
because
happening.
finally all this shit I've put up with all my life is finally going to be answered. All my questions of life are going to be answered in this moment.
And you realize this is the moment you're going to get the sacred documents.
So my mother, so because I'm a celebrity, they let my mother come in, and she was also higher level than me, right? So imagine I'm in this double, so you go through one door and then security, and then you got to get the lanyard, you got to get clearance, you got to go take a picture, you've got to sign documents to say if I ever reveal this, it's going to be $100,000. You don't ever get to read any legal document that Scientology gives you, so you just sign things.
Right.
They say sign here, sign here. It's like today, what you did here. So
Right.
I don't know. I could be married to you, as for all I know, what I signed today. I like how you shook your head no. You don't need to shy. Okay, so comedy. You don't deny, Joe, so I don't know why you keep denying.
That's how you step up comedy another notch.
Got it. You deny.
You just go, no.
Oh,
Get
I
it?
didn't get the memo. Oh, okay, so that's what we're doing now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. So the, okay, so you go into a room, a secure room.
You got a lanyard. They take your photo. You sign the documents.
Well, they give you a folder. You have to get a briefcase that only you know the code to.
A briefcase.
So you go up to the window, to the AO window, and you hand them your briefcase. They scan your briefcase, and they put the materials in the briefcase, and they close it. They turn it back to you, and you lock it. Then you attach the briefcase to your body. I'm not fucking
Like a
with you, Joe.
handcuff?
No, like with a little clip. Like
Okay.
it has to be...
Has to be physically connected to you.
Right, so when you go pee, you have your
Briefcase coming with you.
Correct.
Right.
Okay, so you get your briefcase. They go down the hall and use your thing, and you're gonna be let into one door, and then you're gonna go into another door, and then you're gonna go into the course room. That's what it's called. So you go into the 3 doors or 2 doors, whatever it was. You sit down, you open up your briefcase, and you read the material for the first time. The answers. So my mother's sitting there in front of me. Okay, she's so excited. Understand that this is what you want for your kids. You're getting up the bridge and they're getting the answers to life. So when they come back next lifetime, they're not going to forget everything. They're not going to be as fucked up as they were when they were, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's really a proud moment, you know? And so my mom's sitting across from me like, so excited. And I'm reading this, that my body is made up of other beings. My body, my whole body, my thoughts and everything are mixed in with these other beings that are compose my body. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Are you following me with
Yep.
this? What's your understanding of it?
Your body's made up of other beings.
Right. Everything.
Everything.
My thumb
Your
is
nails
composed
are
of
other beings. Your hair is
maybe
other
not the
beings.
nails because they're acrylic.
Okay. Your skin is other beings. Your eyes are other beings.
Everything.
Okay.
Like just here, just
Right.
in there, just.
Mm-hmm.
My thumb is a person, is a being trapped into this body. Here, okay, so I read this, and the supervisor comes over and he goes, "Do you understand? I want you to draw it out. I want you to draw it out."
So the supervisor
like
has
that.
access to this information.
Yeah, he's standing there to make sure, right? So I go like this, Joe. I
Right.
go, I
You
don't
draw a
know.
little person.
Okay, I go, there's a bunch of beings on me like that, and
Right.
I give it to him like that, and he goes, "Start again. I want you to read it again, and then I want you to draw another one." So I go, okay. So I did all this, you know, and I literally did this, Joe. I made circles on every part of my body.
So for people that are just listening,
circles.
Lee's drawn a stick figure, and she's drawing little circles all over the stick figure.
Right?
Right,
Okay,
right.
now these beings were like from 75 trillion years ago. They were put in volcanoes and blown up and packaged and overlord. And anyway.
Are you freaking out at this point?
I look at my mother, who's sitting. Now the supervisor's standing over me, so I go, "What in the fuck is this? What is this?" And she's like, "Isn't it amazing?"
So your mom
And
was
I go-
in. She
I
was
go, "Your
buying
mother's
it.
OT8."
Right.
I go,
Your mom's OT8?
Yeah.
Your mom's top of the food chain?
Yeah. Not only is my mother top of the food chain when it comes to the counseling side, my mother was top of the food chain when it came to administering Scientology, which is very rare. She was what's considered a high-trained auditor.
But she hadn't read this stuff yet?
Of course she read it. She was just there to see my excitement.
Oh, I see. Okay.
She was just there as a spectator to see her
Right.
daughter receive the answers.
Right. But you were super skeptical.
Right. Tell you.
Right.
Supervisor comes over and he goes, "What don't you understand?" I go, "I understand it. I don't love it. Like, I'm not happy." I go, "I just got to tell you, I'm not happy with this is what it was." And he goes, "Well, you don't need to believe it. You just need to do it." So that's the answer that's given to you. You don't need to believe it. You just need to do it. So then you have to go and audit this. You have to go and do it on yourself. Talk to these beings on the meter by yourself.
So on the meter, meaning you hold the cans. And when I say cans, folks, what they look like, it looks like soup cans. Like if you drained all the soup from a soup can and it had a string attached to it, it's connected to some
Yeah, you could just Google what Scientology e-meter.
e-meter.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to hold the e-meter and discuss this?
No, you think it.
You think it.
You know, there's
just think it.
So now you got to go get your material. So after you've been checked out on this and they get that you get what it is, then you go back to the window and they give you your actual what you're supposed to do with this information. So it'll say like it'll be a piece of paper and it'll say ask this question and then look at the meter and what the answer is. Whatever answer comes to your mind, write it down.
Huh.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
okay.
all you're doing is awakening these things to talk to them, really. Yeah. Right. And to let them go. You're basically saying, like, go be free. Go.
So this is OT3?
Correct.
And
And,
you-
by the way, when I was a Scientologist and I heard that this was a story, I didn't know. So I would go to the internet and go, OT3 story, but I didn't know if it was true, so I couldn't verify it.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
most people who go, that's bullshit, because they don't know what they're looking at on the internet.
Right.
There's no one to verify it with. So if I went to my mother, let's say before I got to this level, you're told to lie to people.
Oh,
You
so
can't tell people what the answers are because they're going to get pneumonia.
they get pneumonia?
Literally will die.
Okay,
So a lot of times when I lied to the press and then they confronted me on it and said, "Why'd you lie?" I was like, "I had to save your life. I mean, I can't. I don't want to give you cancer."
So if you were about to go to OT3 and then you went online and you investigated what is OT3 and then you read a bunch of stuff about these little beings in your body and then asked your mom would have to lie to you.
She would lie to me, as she did. as she did.
So after you got through this,
Yeah.
what made you do 4 and 5?
Because there's always the carrot of like, just wait.
Okay, it'll
and
make
by the
sense.
way, here's what they do. They set up that you're the auditor now. So you're auditing these things in your body. You're now the boss. So they tell you, get your hat on. Like it's your job. You don't need to believe anything. You just need to audit them. So you need to do your job as an auditor. That's what they're called, auditors. People who are the ones who take you into session in Scientology.
Right.
So you feel like you're in a leadership role. So you're doing these things a favor. You know, and you're like, well, maybe it's true. I don't know. I mean, I do sometimes hear voices, you know, like, you have a moment with yourself and you're like, I might be really kind of crazy. So you're like, maybe this is an answer. It's sick because it speaks to a side of you that wants answers about life,
Right.
and then you're like, no, this is some crazy shit, man. There wasn't even people. What? No, listen, you believe what you want to believe at the time.
Right. So does it feel to you at the moment like maybe if you just keep going,
It'll
all
get
the
better.
pieces will fall into place,
Yes.
then it'll make sense?
Yes.
It's like,
And-
I'm confused now, but if I contemplate this and I really
Right.
think it over, eventually I'm going to receive enough information where
Correct.
this is all going to be like, oh,
Right.
I was a fool. I didn't understand.
Right. So,
Right.
for example, one time I had talked to a friend about it. I said, I heard something about some Xenu shit. She
Xenu shit.
pulled me into Celebrity Center so fast, into a secured room, and she handed me my ass. She said, don't you ever say that word outside a secured room. I'm writing a knowledge report on you. She said, I'm writing a report on you. Swear to God. You never say that word out loud in a room that's not secured. Okay? And never say it
Wow.
again. So she wrote a report on
A
me.
knowledge report.
She wrote a knowledge report on me. I got sent to what's called ethics, which is like the Justice Department of celebrities, of Scientology. And they said, they brought me into another secured room because they have to get somebody who knows this information. And they said, never, ever say this, never confirm it, never deny it, never give that information out ever. Just never discuss it. Just say, I've never heard of it. You sound crazy. Wow. And that's what we all say. You sound crazy. Or, properly done, you get it. Like you'll get it if it's properly done. Those people didn't do it properly. That's why they didn't understand it. Do you see what I'm saying?